So when I do public appearances, I get very anxious. I had an anxiety attack. How much I can't post a picture of myself on Twitter without a bunch of people telling me how ugly I am. Hesitant to share a lot of myself with the world.
Rachel Zegler reportedly had to see a therapist.
That's what happens when you're a bitch, is that nobody likes you. I know it sounds crazy, but that's those are the consequences of your actions. That's life.
After the Snow White flop.
Rachel Zegler, thanks for coming on my show. I sold out years ago and I'm a coward. So you recently starred in the movie Snow White. Tell me, what was it like to play Snow Latina?
First of all, Steven, it was weird. But I did enjoy reimagining the character as a woke Colombian woman who looks like a fish.
The thing is, the internet, when the internet decides that they hate somebody, they hate them. They hate them, and that's it. And I feel like, especially with people like this that have like these types of viewpoints, I don't see her coming back from this at all. I think she is totally cooked with this.
Yeah, that's where we're starting, because the fairy tale is over.
It's the most emotional experience that a person can go through, to know that what they're working on is something that has reached a generation of people. And now I'm a part of that legacy to some degree, and it's not something I take lightly, and it's just the most emotional experience.
Rachel Zegler, the actress to Golden Globe winner, allegedly collapsed while filming one of the most demanding roles in musical theater. And honestly, reports had already been hinting at trouble. Rachel was reportedly seeking therapy after the Snow White flop. So what really happened on set? When Rachel performs, she gives it everything. Her voice shakes the air. Her body trembles with the weight of the character. Rachel's voice is powerful, magical. But then, something changed. The performance that started with so much fire ended with Rachel walking off the stage in tears. On the last day of shooting Snow White, Rachel broke down completely and left the scene.
To do what we do and to make movies, but I love it so much because I get to see you guys. And I'm really, really thankful that so many of you have been with us for 3 summers, and if you were here for 2 or just back for this one, you're part of such an important family to me, and this has been such a hard, wonderful journey. I'm so thankful to have been on it with you all. So thank you.
What went wrong? And who's really behind all this chaos? People are whispering about Rachel's mental strain, non-stop pressure to be perfect, and the crushing weight of online criticism that follows her everywhere. Imagine feeling like the whole world is watching your every move, just waiting for you to mess up. That's the kind of pressure Rachel has been under for months.
Do you have a terrible audition experience?
I do have a terrible audition experience. I was actually, oddly enough, auditioning for a Broadway show of a very famous Broadway musical that was having a revival, and the producers and directors were ordering lunch while I was singing.
What?
It was so horrible.
Actually, while you were singing a song?
Yeah. I booked West Side Story a week later, though.
Let's rewind to Rachel's audition experience. Yeah, she booked West Side Story just a week later, but this breakdown, it wasn't about one bad day. It was months in the making. And the reasons? They might shock you. The Hollywood blacklist. Conspiracy or reality? Rachel was supposed to be the future of musical cinema. Steven Spielberg discovered her. She became a household name overnight with West Side Story. But just a few years later, things feel different. What happened? The roles Rachel chose? The things she said? Ever since Rachel took a bold stance during the Snow White press tour, calling the story outdated and questioning industry norms, she's faced a wave of media backlash. Is Rachel being punished for speaking out? Or is Hollywood too woke to function anymore?
But it's hard. And it's lonely. It's very lonely. I just know that if that loneliness can exist, so can other things, and I will be okay.
Everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
She's an incredible actress, but last year's SAG-AFTRA and WGA protests revealed how outspoken Rachel's become, calling out pay gaps and diversity issues. Admirable, yes, but that honesty made her a target.
I never wanted to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities I have. I can also be having the greatest
time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me death threats.
Female celebrities of color face brutal double standards. Christian Bale loses his temper, method acting. Rachel speaks up, she's difficult. One viral tweet with over 200K views asks, what exactly did Rachel do wrong to deserve death threats? Scroll through the comments on Rachel defending her Snow White reimagining. Is it fair criticism or gendered hate? Another tweet with 4 million views says, you wanted authenticity. Rachel gave it to you. And now you're punishing her for not being fake enough on your red carpet. Then came Rachel's London play flop. A brutal blow. This wasn't just a bad night at work. It was a Hollywood wake-up call, wrapped in empty seats and silence. Rachel Zegler has become the cautionary tale no one asked for, but everyone's watching.
What an idiot I've been as a young person in this industry who has no filter and no idea what she's doing.
Studios threw everything at Rachel after West Side Story, but the audience never got the memo. Snow White bombed harder than a middle school science project. Theater tickets gathered dust like forgotten mixtapes. The message, crystal clear, and honestly, it feels like Rachel's alone in this. Like Rachel, alone in a theater, watching herself described as one of the most unlikable humans.
Sounds like you're one of the only ones there, just like Rachel Zegler as it turns out, and we part with this video of Rachel Zegler alone in a theater watching herself. One of the most unlikable humans.
That
ever.
is sadder than when the original Snow White eats the apple.
That's sadder than when the original Snow White ate the apple, because theater doesn't lie. You can't Photoshop a crowd. You can't CGI enthusiasm. When nobody shows up, you're performing to ghosts. The same industry that sells out Hamilton. Faster than concert merch couldn't fill half the seats for Rachel's Evita. The London Palladium seats 2,286, but night after night, tumbleweeds. They claimed $4 million in pre-sales before announcing Rachel's casting, but front row seats are still available, like Black Friday leftovers. Reddit's tearing it apart, calling it PR fairy dust. Because in live theater, you either pack the house or you don't. No premiere stunts, no fake paparazzi, no rented. Super fans, this is raw, unfiltered reality. And here's the kicker, Hollywood's still pushing Rachel, like doubling down on a losing poker hand. Execs think if they keep shoving Rachel into projects, we'll crown her the new queen. Spoiler, that's not how fandom works. This isn't Sam Worthington or Jai Courtney all over again. It's deeper, because Rachel's Evita debut came right after her Snow White controversy. Before, Rachel's Romeo and Juliet run made bank. Now, she's the face of division. Fans don't think star power when they see Rachel's name. They think, oh great, another lecture disguised as entertainment. Rachel might have the pipes, she might have range, but it's not about talent anymore. It's about whether people still want to listen. Live performance is the ultimate truth serum. No second takes, no editing. If they don't vibe with Rachel, you feel every second of the silence. And that's not hate, it's reality. Rachel's image, built more by interviews than by roles. A TikTok fan shared this real-life encounter. She's ridiculously talented and really sweet, but the way Rachel presents herself on camera, it just doesn't work for everyone.
On East Houston.
Amelia's Gelato?
Gelato.
So I actually met Rachel Zegler in New York after her Broadway show performing Romeo and Juliet, and let me just say I have a couple opinions on her after meeting her in person. First, I will say I completely understand how people took what she said about Snow White and how she promoted that and just took it negatively, because I did too. Like, I genuinely did not like the way that she was talking about her character and stuff, but I have to say that in person, oh my god, she is so sweet, and not only that, she is ridiculously talented. Like, in that show, her singing actually blew me away. I've never heard anyone sing that well in person. I can't explain it. It was just amazing. I know there are some clips on TikTok where people secretly record the show. I highly recommend you guys go watch that, because her riffs were insane, and she only had like one singing part, but that was my favorite part of the entire show.
Meanwhile, the media is still selling us Golden Globe winner Rachel Zegler, Hollywood's rising star. Her Hunger Games appearance? Fine, but let's be real, that franchise could star a cardboard cutout and still sell tickets. The brand sold. That movie, not Rachel, and Spielberg, the man who allegedly championed her, radio silent. Even Rachel's Snow White co-star Gal Gadot had this to say: when you're trying to put something special together, we didn't really have teamwork, and there were many setbacks we had to deal with. I just found that to be very exhausting. She didn't name names, but come on, who else could it be? Rachel has the voice, she has the look, but she's missing the one thing Hollywood can't manufacture: the audience's love. Rachel's career isn't over, but it's definitely on life support, not because she can't act, not because she can't sing, but because she forgot the most important rule in entertainment: the audience picks the winners. Not the headlines, not the execs, not the legacy PR machines, the fans. And Hollywood skipped the part where Rachel actually had to win us over. Now we're watching the consequences in real time. Empty theater seats, box office bombs, comment sections that say it all. We're not rooting against talent, but if Rachel doesn't learn from this breakdown, someone else will.
Very talented, capable individual. I'm here for a reason. I can do it. No, I've been getting a lot of questions about, like, how do I feel? Let's address the elephant in the room.